Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another dose of MechWarrior Online. Today we're going to be taking a look at the BlackJack Hero mech, and while they call it the Arrow, I prefer Bullet Hose, or maybe even the Kill Confirmer. But anyways, as you can see, 6 machine guns are the focal point here, and obviously as a medium mech with this loadout, it is designed to go in and eliminate the enemy once it's already been severely damaged by either yourself or allies. Now, in this configuration, by no means a massive damage dealer, at least not in my hands, doesn't really suit my playstyle. However, with those 6 machine guns, if an enemy mech has its internal structure exposed, you will cut them in half. For those of you new to the game, here's how machine guns are going to work. Now, you've got the 2 layers of a mech. You've got the external and then the internal. The external is considered to be the actual armor, the stuff that protects the mech. Beyond that, you have the internal structure, which is basically its skeleton and other wiring. So what you're going to want to do is soften up the enemy mech, either by allowing friendlies to do the job, or by perhaps using your 2 medium lasers and large pulse. Now, in this footage, I don't actually have any weapon modules loaded up. You'll see that in the next match, but I do highly recommend you go with the machine gun range module as well as the medium laser range module to help you get a little bit more damage further out. Anyways, back to the match at hand. Obviously, this is the newer map recently released, and like I said in my map attack video, I think the design and layout for this size of a map is okay. I just think that aesthetically it's disgusting. But moving right along, right here I'm just trying to jump up on top of this platform. It is kind of nice that it is multi-level so that you can perhaps get some death from above. And I'm just trying to figure out where the team is wanting to move. This was filmed back when the map was fresh and many of the players just have no idea where to go. A lot of these guys, I'm sure, didn't actually play the map when it was on the test server. Now here I'm just trying to follow some larger mechs. Obviously they're going to have a lot more armor and firepower, and I'm really there just to finish the job. We want to wait till they damage something, we go in and we just shred things with machine guns. We don't necessarily have to save all of the ammo for internal structure, but again, really against external armor, it's not going to do a whole lot. If anything, machine gun fire at the face of a mech, there is a psychological tactic. You're going to be able to scare quite a few light mechs away from you. If they know that you have that many machine guns, they might also be thinking, well, it's a matter of time before I get stripped of armor on my leg or an arm, and then if this guy is nearby, he's going to eat me alive with those machine guns, so I'm going to want to get away from him. So again, machine gun fire at the right place at the right time can be a psychological tactic, a scare tactic, if you will, and is actually quite effective. Keep in mind, though, you do have some extra weapons. In this case, we've got the 2 medium lasers and a large pulse. I like to bind them all together because the mech is pretty heat efficient, and I feel that it's just easier to manage 2 buttons instead of 3 or 4 on a mouse. In this case, I'm using the lasers to just kind of poke at the enemy. Even if it's a little bit of damage at maximum range, it's still damage, it's still the sensation of being hit, and it might make them think twice about coming out in the open. So as you can see here, just using some of the walls for cover, backing in and out to strike the enemy, making sure that I'm always looking at this mini-map, keeping friendlies in sight. If I do see an opening, such as here, maybe I can get somewhere, maybe I can flank around or get on top of something to get a different vantage point, then I'm going to do that. So here, a little bit of fire from above, and see how I'm just poking back and forth. I want to make sure that I'm not too exposed, and with the lasers, they're going to point both ways, so it's a matter of time before somebody starts noticing the fire and turning to you. But again, I'm just going to take advantage of this. I know that I have some cover on my left, my back could be exposed, but I think I've got some friends there. And now they're finally starting to pay attention to my mech, so I have to be careful. And I'm thinking about the left side there. Another poke here. I'd love to kill that mech, but I'm just going to back off here and then switch directions. So here, just looking for another target, but we're still taking fire. That same mech has us pinpointed, missiles on the way. So I'm just going to back off here, utilizing jump jets to not take too much leg damage, and perhaps just try to find another way around. Again, just keeping my eye on that mini-map and making sure that there are friendlies around me, because on my own I'm not that tough. I can get killed fairly quickly, and my weapons aren't really designed to handle a lot of armor, and especially frontal assaults. So again, just kind of picking away at some of these mechs and looking for targets of opportunity, looking for mechs that have internal structure exposed. Here I see some mechs that are kind of running away from a fight. This Timberwolf, we're just going to let him have it. Pour it on him. Internal structure, firing machine guns and the lasers. Again, pretty good heat management here with this mech. And we finish him off very quickly, just because once his internal structure is exposed, those machine guns just shred. Now, in this particular match, the team just did pretty well, if you look at that score at the top there. But I also didn't go through a whole lot of machine gun ammunition, but I didn't really have that many targets that were close enough to utilize those weapons. I would say that if you're mid to late game and you still have tons of ammo and you are engaging targets close quarters, just go ahead and let them have it. You know, aim for their face, try to blind them a little bit, try to just shake them up with some intimidation. You know, let them know that you're there. More often than not, people will just kind of get freaked out by the fact that they're hearing all these bullet ricochets and things. Again, it's just psychological warfare. The sound effects in this game are absolutely horrible, but I still think that they can do a job and perhaps affect the behavior of a typical player that's perhaps just not used to the cues and maybe not trained in a way that will promote effective gameplay while under duress. However, back to the game. For an effective flank, enemy not aware of my position, while friendlies engage from the front. Pour it on them. Gotta love that. So while we wait for the score, again, not really a huge damage dealer, at least in my hands. We, of course, didn't see that many targets this match, but it's one of those things where I'm probably going to get more kills in this mech than I am damage. You can see here over 200, and then 3 kills, 7 assists, which isn't bad at all. Some good C-bills and experience earned.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Okay, match number 2, HPG Manifold, and this time you'll notice by looking at the lower right hand corner at my weapons grouping, you'll see that I've got a little bit more range on the machine guns and the medium lasers, because I've got weapons modules loaded up, and they are the rank 5 modules, and every little bit helps. So if you're going to run this kind of build, or you're going to run a build that has the ability to use some sort of weapon module, then go ahead and do it. There's not really any downsides to it, and you'll be surprised at how much a couple of points can affect the outcome of a match. So same strategy here, keeping an eye on the mini-map, looking at where my friendlies are located, wanting to kind of escort them and find targets that are damaged enough that I can go in and shred them with machine guns. But again, when it comes to map strategy, you have a couple of basics that you can use all the time, things that will apply to all maps. Thinking about cover, finding an exit strategy. If things hit the fan, where can I go? Can I go left, right? Can I just reverse? Can I jump jet out of the way? You know, if missiles start falling from above, can I get behind something? Is it tall enough to protect me from those missiles? Also, keep an eye on the direction of travel of friendlies and enemies alike. Watch where that fire is going. Here you can actually see I'm utilizing some night vision to get a little bit extra visual range, and you can kind of switch between this and thermal vision. Thermal is going to be a lot better for close-up targets, but as you can see there, hitting a target with lasers because I was using this night vision to kind of see a little bit better into the dark spaces. Obviously that satellite dish there, underneath there, it's really dark, hard to see from far away. So I find that night vision helps quite a bit, just makes things a lot clearer. If you're having to engage close quarters, let's say on the interior of this map, you're definitely going to want to switch over to the thermal vision. But again, with this mech, this build, at the start of the match, you're going to want to just focus on softening up the enemy. Imagine an army attacking a fixed position. At first, they're going to want to hit it with artillery, soften up the bunkers, get rid of a lot of the heavy gun emplacements before they send in troops or vehicles. So think of it the same way here. You're wanting to soften up the enemy. You want to damage them before you then make your major push. So in this case, just keep your eye on your friendlies, stay with them, watch what they're firing at, and assist, focus fire. Now in this match, I'm definitely being cautious, and maybe even overly cautious. I've got machine guns that aren't able to be used currently, but when it comes to the start of a match, especially one where we're not ahead on mech kills, I really want to feel out the enemy's movement. I want to know their positioning. Waiting for UAVs to go up, or maybe a chance to get one out there. Waiting for maybe some more reconnaissance data from light mechs or scouts. And if you think about it, the game is still fresh. You know, it just began. We're up by 2 at this point, but we've got a lot of people also back here. And it's one of those things where I'm wanting to maintain a firing line. I'm watching our movement. If the team makes a strong push, then we're going to go with them. So we're not really just trying to sit back and camp, but we're waiting for the rest of the team to make their movement. As you can see here, that movement is actually a flank. Contact, target lock, engaging with ranged weapons, and just doing a little bit of torso twisting there to avoid incoming fire. But again, we have friendlies there to help us out if need be. We want to pay attention to the fact that there's an opening there just in case an enemy pops through and tries to engage. So just sticking with the team. I'm not a forward fighter. I'm not an assault mech or a heavy, you know, and I can be destroyed really quickly. So we're just waiting, using the lasers for range combat, still playing in the night vision mode. Again, this is a personal preference, depends on what your gamma is and all that. I'll switch here and there. Again, just for close quarters battling. Now we're into thermal, and I'm paying attention to also targets that are in the background, because a lot of times they'll think that nobody's watching them, and you want to let them know that you see them and that they should actually back off. In this case, I made a little bit of a mistake. I think I walked in front of somebody's line of fire. That was totally my bad. I hate when people do it, and I just did it there too. So this is just one of those things where now it's starting to turn into a brawl with this flank. Some mechs are just rolling in to their deaths, of course, and not having really used the machine guns yet, but the lasers are doing a pretty good job. The 2 mediums and the 1 large pulse is actually a nice combination. This is quickly turning into one of those games where you're feeling like, man, my team's winning, but they're getting all the kills, all the damage. I got to get in there and do something. And, well, that's a good thing. But you can see there, a little bit of laser, a little bit of follow-up with the machine guns to get that kill confirmation. Just watching some of the targets out in the distance here. One utilizing some cover, throwing out some missiles. We're, again, just thinking, all right, time to start moving in a little bit. Push in and get these guys back, prevent them from firing any more missiles. But you can see that they had taken a few mechs with them at least. And here, just pouring it on them once again, letting them know that I'm here. And once I see that internal structure, I know that it's going to be a good time for me. But this catapult, trying to get some shots in, doing a little bit of torso twisting here while we get behind some cover. Again, thinking about what I'm able to use as cover if need be. So in this case, we decided to take the high ground. Perhaps his gun elevation isn't amazing. We want to close the distance on him, making the LRMs ineffective if we can, and just rushing into him, letting him have it. We know he's the last one, so just go ahead and waste all the ammo you can, since my machine guns haven't seen enough action. Death from above! Fantastic final blow there with the arrow, aka bullet hose. But that was an example of a match where we didn't actually see that much machine gun usage. Of course, in my hands, that's to be expected as I tend to fight from far away. I think a lot of people neglect the fact that they have 3 other weapon systems on board with the 2 mediums and the large pulse. Most of the kills are from those systems at medium ranges, and we got some machine gun damage in at the end. Now, yes, you got all that MG ammo. It's a shame to not use it, but it was just one of those matches that took a while to start and then escalated very quickly at the end. As you can see here from the statistics, I'm 4 kills and 200 plus damage. It's almost matching up to the last match, except for the fact that I've got 1 extra kill. So it's not that it was a worse match, it was almost the same, except with a different start and finish. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our look at the Arrow. Thank you so very much for joining me. I'll definitely see you on the next one.